out there, y'all? It's your minds and them Foul Shot, the aka the Toothless Wonder, with an impromptu live on the Bamboozled Again News Network on this Sunday evening. And I basically just titled this one, if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. You know what I mean? This weekend, I've been sleeping and just resting a lot. I try to practice balance. I try to be efficient. I try to get things done, you know what I mean? I just felt the need to rest. My spirit said rest. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? Um, and it seemed like every time I go through one of these phases where I'm real like tired and I eat more than I don't really actually I really like during the week. I probably only eat once a day, but eating more and just resting right. I feel like I'm always going through some type of spiritual upgrade by downgrading a previous version of what my previous season, right? So normally I feel depressed. I feel down, say it like that. Not because of my personal situation, but from a social observative standpoint, when I view the world at large from a society or a social observation standpoint, right? It can be very depressing, right? Now I understand staying away from the narcs and so on and so forth. But in my little kid heart, right? It's hard for my heart to believe these people are that far gone, yo. You know what I'm saying? Where I can see them, but I can't reach them. And it's kind of, downing to a degree because I know it's the Most High will that none should perish. You know what I mean? And then I was feeling like, my efforts to, job wise, community wise, and my personal life, I've let bygones be bygones. I've legitimately helped people. Hey, what's up, brother Anthony? What's happening with it? I've legitimately helped people, right? Mr. T, what it do, baby? Yeah, this was just impromptu. Um, I feel like my efforts have been in vain. I was seriously thinking about of all the people I've rendered assistance to, how many people have I actually helped get to the next level? Granted, it's a personal responsibility, but I was encouraging. I came from an empathetic place of my personal struggles and journeys and things that I learned that helped me and maybe they'll help the next person, right? And again, I was feeling like all my efforts were in vain. You know what I'm saying? Or like I forgot which prophet it was, but he was telling them basically like they wanted to understand it like, okay, I tell some people this, they don't listen. They feel like they failed God. But then God told him, I forgot which one it was, but they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I think the Most High is only concerned with our obedience, not necessarily um, if we fulfilled the task. Well, you fulfilled the task in being obedient, no diggity, no doubt. Mr. Anthony said, just out here doing Walmart version of DoorDash. What you mean by that, bro? Just doing a Walmart version of DoorDash. Oh, because I was doing those Walmart Spark things while I was in between jobs, and it was enough to sustain me, right? And that'll actually that's a good point, and that'll segue me to this too, right? Because the world is so uncertain, it's actually hard. Yeah, yeah, delivering groceries, yeah. What area are you in, bruh? Um, because when I go to a more metropolitan area, I notice it's not as lucrative as it is in my small town because of traffic. It takes longer to get to stores, dealing with traffic. I don't like going to apartment buildings up and down, flights of stairs and all that there. So I just do it, you know what I mean? And it's enough, you know what I mean? But back to the topic though, right? Um, we set out to have plans, right? And it's the space I'm in, right? But a lot of my plans have not come to fruition. Oh, okay, Charles. Okay, that's what's up, Charles, South Carolina. Oh, it's probably love out there. None of my plans have come to fruition, even though I've delved myself into numerous opportunities, networking, so on and so forth. It just wouldn't come together. I'm like, why? Like, am I cursed or? And I truly believe it's the Most High's will. Now, He had me do that stuff to build character resiliency, but we're in this space now where your total dependence has to be on the Most High and being led by the Spirit, right? Case in point, I would, you know what I'm saying? Like normally, Sundays is like a lucrative day as far as, doing Walmart, Spark, or whatever, supplement my income from work and whatever the case may be. And I don't even feel like doing it. Not that I'm lazy. My spirit just saying rest. So I'm in this not a new season, but a greater level of awareness of being led by the Spirit. I got a child custody issue coming up few other little financial things popping up or whatever the case may be. And when I look back on previous seasons of being out of work 2 years, every time I had something pop up, um, the finances, manifested, if that's the word you want to use, or an opportunity came at the right time. You know what I'm saying? It just be my will and my desire, really, to escape Babylon under my own hand and accord, but that might not be the Most High will. And ultimately, our purpose here on earth is to do the will of the Most High. Everything else is luxury if you're afforded his anointing to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna believe everybody ain't called to do the same stuff. Just like your toes don't have the same function as your fingers. You know what I mean? Word up. Um, so I must be content, and I got shelter, clothing, raiment. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all good in that area. Now, and in previous seasons, I've also had candles, batteries, canned goods. You know what I'm saying? But my hope is not in resources, it's in the ultimate source. Because, hey, what's going on, Farrah? What's happening with it? What else? Oh, that was Prophet Sam. Okay, yeah. And that's another thing, right? I appreciate that. Because I'm kind of almost transporting myself into the days of the prophets, where it was his will that, let's say, they go and do something, right? Or almost like Jeremiah. God knew they were going into captivity, but he told them, if you don't do this, this was going to happen. He did what he was told. They still went into captivity. And it said Jeremiah wept. And that's exactly how I feel, yo. I caught a new breed, I think the latest video in which he was talking about community building versus church and religion and all that. And even in my personal life, right? It's mind-boggling to me. Even when I was younger, I understood this. When black people have an issue, why do we always have to go to the man to solve an issue he helped create? Why can't we just come together, yo? But now, along spiritual and biblical lines, I understand why that's the case now. We couldn't do it because there's a spiritual blockage in place. But you ever notice we can come together for tomfoolery, or we can come together when the people on TV tell us to? Now I almost feel, and it's heartbreaking, right? Because I almost feel alienated from those who look just like me. And they're probably the greatest detriment. Like Tupac said, they say it's the white man that I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing here. You know what I'm saying? And we just gotta, well, me, many are the afflictions of the righteous. I got to bear up under it. And I think that's why I've been so tired and kind of down. Not because of my personal situation, because I'm used to being in hellfire. That ain't nothing new. And when I think about it, it's the hellfire that created the person I am now, who's able to function and do things I've never previously done, because I've always been a fool. You know what I'm saying, me? What's up, Daniel? What's going on? Oh, I got to give a shout out to my man, Daniel. Cause I'm still new to YouTube as far as understanding it, especially since I got mine. But Mr. Daniel, he subscribed as a member. Y'all, I appreciate you, bro. You know what I mean? And I'm going to come with some more concise notes, because I'm just freestyling this one off the dome from the outflowing of my heart. You know what I mean? And I weep for my people. You know what I'm saying? I think all the prophets or all the freedom fighters from back in the day, there was a great burden placed on their heart that they had to carry. You know what I'm saying? And if we look at day and time now, it seemed like their efforts were in vain. But what do? You fight knowing you're not going to win, or do you not fight and just be a chump? You know how they say, a coward dies 1,000 deaths, a warrior only dies once. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to protect your kids out here, and the legal system seems to be helped, another faction do the modern day version of sacrificing them to Moloch. It can become very weighty, especially even more. I didn't even have the detriment and the once I was living wrong. I didn't understand at that time, especially spiritually and scripturally, when you make that transition in your heart to live right, not knowing all the information, you'd be surprised what pop up. The only difference is now I couldn't go back into the world if I wanted to, because one, there's nothing appealing about the world. Ain't no aspect or segment of the world and the way it's constructed, its belief systems and how it functions to operate, the hierarchies and whatnot, that even tempted to for some momentary comfortability and do what? Lose my soul? It looks stupid, especially when I gauge it through these various podcasts and so on and so forth. I don't. Sometimes it's hard to even quantify it. You know what I mean? It's hard, Joe. Like, wow, is this reality? And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Now, the title of this message was, you know, if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. Ready in the sense of being led by the Spirit, right? Which is kind of new for me, because again, I'm the intellectual guy, so things of the Spirit don't make intellectual sense. But I can look back on times in my life when I was led by the Spirit, not realizing it, and now I see what He was doing back then to help me have even greater trust now. Because times are so uncertain, you can't really prepare. I mean, you can and you should, in practical means based on your resource and ability. But it's hard because everything is so warp speed. You know what I'm saying? Like news that happens, like a news thing that happens today that would be news, right? And that would be like a thing for like people remember that for 3 years. We have breakneck speed news at least 4 to 5 days out the week. Whether it's the wildfires out of nowhere, planes dropping out the sky, the geopolitical stuff, the religious stuff they got going on with the fake occupiers in Israel. You know what I'm talking about? And now we're in this space where there's so much information coming out. Oh, I appreciate. Farrah says double tap to like the stream. I appreciate that. Um, Things are happening at such breakneck speed, and so much information is coming out. You can't even tell if the information is true. I guess that parallels the word when it said, if he could, he would even deceive even the very elect. It's hard to know who's true and what's true. You see what I'm saying? So I guess you got to test the spirit, right? But I'll be more so in my spirit, and it kind of breaks my heart. Like my heart and my spirit be at war. Because my spirit just saying fall back. And then my little heart, which is deceitfully wicked above all things, and has led me astray. But it be noble though. That be the tricky part. Try one more time, cuz. Even though I ain't seen no uh uh forward progress in any of the people I cut off, because I know the day and time and hour is so pivotal, my heart be like, yo, give him one, reach out to him, give him one more shot, yo, tell him you love him. And I do love him. But that's unwise, because my spirit saying, man, don't do no stuff like that. You know what I mean? What's up, brother Ralph? Yes, sir. Yeah, man, it's a blessing you caught this junk. Just normally, and I'll get better with this, maybe, putting in the community section, I'll go live at a certain, but sometimes, like, I really didn't feel like talking, but my spirit compelled me to just hop on a live. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, what am I talk about? Because I be trying to think about what I'm going to talk about before I say it. And then before I came on here, I just had Most High just give me utterance. You know what I'm saying? And this is not a fear-based content or anything along those lines. It's just a public service announcement. You know what I'm saying? Because the way the world functions now, I can feel something about to happen. Not, let's say, a nuclear war, but even if, and I'm gauging this through the character of people that I see, um, everyone is behaviorally regressing. The vast majority of people that I know, maybe the jab battle has something to do with it, are deteriorating health-wise. They're deteriorating mentally. I'm trying to figure out how societies function. Here in Maryland, we're almost a fallen state at this point. I saw some news that Harford County doesn't have it in the budget for summer school. Now I see why they cool with kind of disbanding to a degree. Right, Farrah said he must be obedient to his calling. Um, I can see why they would disband the Board of Education on a federal level. Because what do they actually do other than promote, binary? I don't even know the words binary, gender, bathroom. They don't got nothing to do with no education or teaching elementary kids about alternative lifestyles and all that. It's supposed to be about reading, writing, arithmetic. And in the county I live in, we're last in the state as far as the public school system. But we won the state championship for basketball, and Negroes celebrated, right? But they didn't celebrate. But at the time of celebrating, a boys basketball win. It's the last time they did that was '96, the year before I came into high school against the arch rival, right? They never said anything about what they're gonna do as far as like. It's frustrating, but I get it. You can't fault Babylon for Babyloning. It's supposed to be confusing. It wouldn't be Babylon if it didn't. But sometimes, in my inner, I'm like, yo, why do I just want to see natural stuff. Can I taste that upon this earth? Or I was vexed about this, right? I seen some brothers, I think they was in Chicago. Um, I seen some brothers in Chicago, right? Whereas though I think they got jammed up when they were 16 and they finally let them out after 28 years. And I think they gave them like, I don't know, 320K. Or even if it was like 320, let's say hypothetically it's 320 million, right? You mean to tell me that these people were locked up for over 30 years wrongfully, and that's just, you just give them some money? What about the time? What about what happened to them in prison? What about their family that died? And the system, I'll use that word, the system can just throw Negroes away when they feel like it with no recourse. And here's some money that's probably about to be devalued. So that what they just gave you in, let's say, maybe a year, I don't know the time frame, won't have no value no way because it'll all be digital. And you just supposed to take that? Like, that's my existence on earth? I was thinking about this. Like, I grew up in a decent household. I was raised, right? But the vast majority of my grown folk experiences have been betrayal, substance abuse, you know what I'm saying, jail up to I was 25. I'm like, actually, when I think about, I've lived a hard life for somebody who didn't grow up in the hood or wasn't, like, I didn't witness, abuse in my home or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I think almost like Moses, I was raised in a proverbial palace, but I wanted to see life for what it really was. I don't want you to tell me about, I need to see it. I got to experience this. I want to be with the people. Then you figure out when you get with the people that the people are your worst enemy. I mean, what can you can't, I mean, especially if you're quote unquote chosen, your people will be the most detriment to you. But then on the other side, what, you sell out? No, you stay isolated. You know what I'm saying? It's a hard experience as it currently stands, right? But I don't know the time frame. Of course, no man knows, I believe. But the second Exodus got to be getting close, because I don't know how long this can be propped up in a practical sense. You know what I mean? We're in a country where, like, I've been said, they're turning Maryland into the East Coast version of California, where they'll pay you to be a bum. Like, they'll house you if you're on drugs, but if you're the working man, or you don't get no help. You know what I'm saying? If you're the simpish butt broken con, people will love you. But if you stand up for what's right, people will hate you. You know what I'm saying? Oh, what's up, CEO King? What's going on with it, baby? Hey, when you get some music, I'll definitely post it, or we can link up and figure out how to do that there, since you seem to be my unofficial manager. Emily says that'll be like having 10,000 in the near future. It's and Frere says it's the reverse. Everything reverse here. They try to weaken the strong while artificially propping up to weak to masquerade as strength. Like, I caught the Yada Awakening man talking about you're not a, which totally inverts scripture, right? And then he comes across with this kind of cultural thing, you know what I mean? Like the woke people or the fake woke crowd or whatever, talking about you not a man unless you submit to a woman. Actually, in the New Testament, now that I say that, I think we're supposed to submit one to another. Isn't that how that works in the New Testament? And then people be making me mad, man. But people with an actual real message of humility, of empathy, of meekness, nobody listen to them. But as soon as something happens, they'll be the first person you call. You know what I mean? Farrah says you should create music toothless. That's a good idea. I'll take that into consideration. That's a good one. You know what I mean? But again, this live was basically just in reference to just staying ready and getting ready, and spiritually, mentally, even physically. Just keeping oil in your lampstand, because everything in this world is meant to drain you, and that's how I kind of felt drained. Not that anything particularly is draining me personally. It's just looking out, love not the world nor the things of it, right? But I got love for just people in general. I got love. Here's what's crazy about me, right? I tend to think in cons. I think conceptually, right? So I don't know if what I love more. Do I love or do I love the concept or the idea of love? You see what I'm saying? Um, the concept of humanity, which is being rendered asunder. You know what I'm saying? And I be feeling like, and of course I can't, change prophecy or nothing like that. And I try to influence those I come in contact with, but I don't think it's in my power or even meant for me to change it. You know what I'm saying? It was the Most High's will. Yeshua go to the tree, I believe. You see what I'm saying? And he actually, if I'm not mistaken, rebuked Peter for cutting off the soldier ear. And I don't think Peter thought he was wrong. He was protecting someone who taught him. Not understanding, this is part of the plan, yo. You're not going to understand the whole plan. Brother Daniel say, yeah, you should get your tons and the pen of the ready. I don't know if you spelled that correctly. But that's what I like too, how y'all be, engaging in the comment section. Because it ain't just about me. Y'all can share ideas in the comment section. Brother CEO, he done put me on game. I haven't seen her in here. But Sister Alicia, she had gave me suggestions. And that's no big eyes, little you. I would like to believe if you listening to me, and I ain't nobody in no preeminent super spec, we got to be part of the remnant since this world don't, well, it's twofold. I know I don't want nothing to do with the world. It seems like the world don't want nothing to do with me. Because every time I call the world out, people inbox me or whatever the case may be, and then be talking about, why are you saying something? Because I'm supposed to, that's why. Which goes back into my rhetoric about protecting the victimizers, but then telling true victims, get over it. Now, my old satanic boss, right, at the rehab, right? Somebody, my confidential source had contacted me and said because they've had an unaliving in the facility and a near miss, like someone almost unalived in the facility, he's having the medical people who will still work there, because there's been a mass exodus of the medical staff. The medical people said we can't treat him here. Just to fill the bed, he overruled them, and then they had to ship him back out to the hospital. The man family found out about it, went back to the institution and said, we suing y'all, right? So he's got the few medical people he still got attempting to go back in the records and change stuff, like they did certain protocols that they didn't do, and it would have been impossible for them to do it because they short staffed. You know what I'm saying? So I called him out on it again, right? So one of my former co-workers said, you must really have what are you doing with yourself? Like, oh, nothing, just working for the health department. There's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't fight multiple battles on multiple fronts, handle my business, take care of my child, exercise, read, pray. Like I can't do all that at once. See, I feel like I gotta be the all-purpose Negro. You know what I'm saying? Or I think they did an interview with T.I. on the Breakfast Club, and they asked him what he was. Are you a gangster? Are you a community activist? Are you a ladies man? He was like, I'm all that. You know what I'm saying? I slapped man. I don't condone it. He said I slapped main man yesterday. Then later on that night, I let him march. You know what I'm saying? Then I came home and tucked my kids in and made love to my wife. I did all that. Like we can't be in this place of, like, you kind of got to be versatile or well-rounded, as they say. You know what I mean? Oh, I appreciate that. I might jack your name up. La Ya Yisrael. Hey, how the word said, we should be a peculiar people. Even when I was younger, I had no desire. It didn't make no sense to me, and nobody had to tell me this. I never wanted to fit in. Like anybody I linked with was more interpersonally. But I don't click up well. Because you lose your uniqueness in the group dynamic. Or you'll get blackballed thereof. You know what I'm saying? I've been through that 1,000 times. Great employee, great client of whatever treatment center I found myself in. And I always run afoul of them when I ask them a simple question. Church, it don't make no difference. And I'm not trying to grandstand or usurp their authority. I figure since you in charge, you might know. And I've been a model, person to be around. So I figure I ask you. I know when I ask a simple question, that's when it always go left. And they hit me with the company line, and then they miss, use script, oh, just be obedient. And, you know what I'm saying? Yes, the word say be obedient, and it also says take heed no man deceive you, including you. Now I'm back outside homeless or something crazy like that. You know what I mean? But even when I did that, I can think back. And again, this is about, being led by the Spirit, really. But if you stay ready spiritually, mentally, you ain't got to get ready. Every time that happened, I was magically led to safety, yo. You know what I'm saying? When I was in Greensboro, North Carolina, I just didn't agree with the plantation construct of the Black Ran Christian Rehab, where they were a multi-million-dollar organization. But if a brother didn't have socks, me and the homies was pitching together, giving them socks. They wouldn't get the man socks. You know what I'm saying? And the feds can't, same stuff going on now with all this fraud. That's it been going on, right? So my spirit said, man, I'm gone. I ain't gonna be able to do it. Because typically, once my brain gone, it's only a matter of time before I'm gone. Hey, what's up, Tamika? Left, right? And it was all right. It was probably about 60. We're in March now, so weather's starting to turn, at least seemingly. Um, So whereas though, I'm happy, I'm free, I'm thinking about, the life I'm gonna construct in Greensboro, North Carolina. Is super cheaper than what I seen in Maryland. But that night, it ended up being the coldest night in North Carolina that year. Had I walked or been led the wrong direction, I'd have probably froze to death that night. And I don't know where nothing at, but I end up walking towards downtown, the train station. And I guess because I didn't look homeless, ain't nobody fool with me. Got some winks, told everybody messed up, whatever, whatever. And then I ended up getting into a shelter when I went to a particular church that I always wanted to go to. So the path laid out. You know what I'm saying? This is just about, because without faith, it is impossible to please Yah. You know what I'm saying? What else are you going to have faith in at this point? Hey, what's up, Liz? What's happening with it? Uh, Sister Farrah said, just being yourself should be enough. People pleasing robs you of peace. That's all that's going on in the spiritual realm. Robbery in the first degree, robbery of the heart, robbing you of your inner. That's everything meant to rob you or something. Fair exchange ain't no robbery, but I know, again, I'm just curtailing from my life experience. It's always been one sided. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't have no problem getting nobody a jump or lighting somebody a candle. But I can't do that enough where my flame go out. And then when I've done that, ain't nobody help give me no jump start or nothing like that. You know what I mean? So it's just about being wise. And it was hurtful and, because of my little kid heart. But now that I've learned from those experiences at such an integral time as now, it is dangerous to be overly social, if you ask me. Like, again, going back to the old job, just from an experience standpoint, other than maybe one or two people, and we're talking about not long, 2 years, everyone has behaviorally regressed. And 2 years isn't necessarily a long time, right? But the principles they used to hold or who they used to be or what they used to believe in has been completely eroded for finance. That's why I left. Because if I have to like drop my principles to go along to get along, then I'm gonna start regressing. Because just like in prison, once you don't stand up for something, now here come the floodgates. Now everybody messing with you, or now everybody picking you apart. You know what I'm saying? But again, these are the same people who are esteeming and actually covering for a man who's committed numerous crimes because he's their employer. But everybody outside my town know I work for the health department, and we don't mess with them. And it's not that we don't mess with them because of me. It was a blessing that they don't mess with them prior to me getting there. And they knew about the videos I made, and they actually that was one of the contributing factors of me being hired, the fact that I stood on my principles. And they could validate that everything I was saying was true. You know what I'm saying? Brother Anderson said, I think that's why I gravitate towards your channel. Your authenticity, you drop a lot of knowledge from your life experience. I appreciate that, bro. Man, life has been greatly humbling. You know what I'm saying? Granted, my channel is called The Toothless Wonder, right? I've suffered from severe depression for years on end, right? But I'm not self-conscious about smiling. You know what I'm saying? Just something I work on, maybe just state insurance will help, get it fixed or whatever, whatever. But it don't stop me from, now do I want to fix it? Yeah. But I'm not self-conscious about it either. You know what I'm saying? I refuse to let this world define me. I've always been like that. But because I was like that and I couldn't find my niche, the escape, like they typically give the Negro, drugs and alcohol, women, the things of this world that actually end up destroying you. Granted, I don't know if I was supposed to know it at that time, but I didn't know nothing about the narrow path. I read about it. But again, church is what it is at that time. I'm thinking the church people all right, or I didn't understand that this was Babylon. I didn't understand the nuances and the subtleties of what's the word I'm looking for? A simulation. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until I got in these institutions and my spidey sense started tingling. Like, why we go to church on Sunday? Up, Ray get blackballed again. You know what I'm saying? Why why we don't celebrate Passover? Blackballed again. You know how that go. CEO King says the Most High is about to flip the switch on these folks. Just a matter of time. We need to push at paying bills every 30 days. Just keep the ship afloat till the helicopter come, which be the Most High. That's all you can do. And that's another construct that I never understood, which helps kind of keep you on the corporate plantation, paying bills every 30 days. Every time I turn around, I got a bill. Like, so I can't quit my job, even if I wanted to. But from my understanding, in certain places, like say Liberia, I think like you only pay rent like in like 6 month to like a year interval. Like you don't have something in your mailbox every 30 days. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. You know, we're in austerity measures where the price for your services goes up, but the quality of the service goes down. Yeah, I can always get a tooth fixed. Hey, I can always get a tooth fixed. But if I lose my soul, typically I don't know if I can get that back. You know what I mean? Like even when I was on drugs, terribly, I did a whole lot of stuff I wasn't supposed to. But I never really lost my soul because I actually still felt bad. You know what I'm saying? Not felt bad, like remorseful, like, yo, I'm some poop, yo. Like, it wasn't no what I see in here where people do whatever to other people and then they walk around with their chest out. Like that was the thing to do. When if somebody had done that to you, you feel totally wrong or the opposite way about it. Miss Pearl, what's going on with it? Ooh, Miss Pearl say, transparent on a Honda. Many can relate in a few, everything stops. And back to what and that's why I appreciate y'all for just giving me insight in the comment section. You don't know how much y'all been a blessing to me. Because like I said, I'm kind of a little tired and kind of blah, blah, blah. But that's be the energetic charge about being or just conversing on here with like-minded people. Now I'm all right. And that's thanks to y'all and praise to the Most High. So I got a few things. I'm going to do some little leg exercise, but I ain't feel like doing nothing. I'll just get ready for work tomorrow. But just conversing with y'all, seeing how y'all chopping it up in the comment section, then boost your minds and them up, yo. And that's what it's about. Each one help, you know what I'm saying? Like, that didn't cost no money. You know what I'm saying? And I think that be part of it too. I heard somebody else say this, like let's say you go through a level of isolation or you kind of leery of the opposite sex or them sending the lady in the red dress or tank top Tony if you're a woman, right? So you got human desire, but you be kind of, you know what I'm saying? And my man was talking about that energetic charge that you get when you hug someone and they're like genuine, they're like a real person, like they ain't been zapped up with nothing. Yo, you don't know how powerful that is. In such a wicked world, the simplest stuff is the most powerful. Nature, a genuine hug, a a good conversation that was, you know what I'm saying? Because in my personal life, I don't really do no whole bunch of, because ain't nobody talking about nothing. Or I got to discern, is there some type of motive or agenda into it? You know what I mean? But on this jump, I'm charged back up. Y'all done charged your boy up. And hopefully and prayerfully when I come on here, I do the same for y'all. Because I be thinking in my mind, like someone has said in the comments, says, I am unique. And I think I got like a different kind of voice cadence. So I'm like, man, I don't know if I be articulating my points in an intellectual sense, right? But sometimes I don't feel like being intellectual. I feel like just being real. I feel like this would be the equivalent of having a conversation in front of the barber shop or the local grocery store. You know what I'm saying? You're not necessarily, you just kind of informal. You know what I'm saying? Formally informal. You know what I mean? Mr. T said, I think teaching is your calling, bro. I learned something in every video. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Which is odd that you say that, right? Because you're talking to the man who up until I'm 42 now, so up until about 4 years ago, has always been a pure fool. An intellectual fool, but a fool nonetheless. I'm like the jailhouse dude. I know all about the rotation of the sun and all this, that, and the third, but I can't get no job though. I got all these great plans to uplift the black community, but I make bad choices in dating. You know what I'm saying? I think it talk about that in Proverbs where it says where you should wear wisdom around your neck and take it everywhere it go. Or when it refers to someone else asked me this. They was like, why do you think in Proverbs it refers to wisdom as a woman? It's because a woman's small. I'm like, that's a good question. I don't know. I just came off the cuff. I'm like, maybe because they put wisdom in that feminine sense because you're supposed to steward wisdom correctly. Like I could take wisdom and use it for ulterior motives. You know what I'm saying? I should be very diligent with my wisdom. Almost treat wisdom as you would treat your wife that's the love of your life. I'm saying you can't well, I guess you could take your wife everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? But even if she's not physically present, you're still representing that. And that is representing you when y'all not apart. Or when y'all not together, rather. You know what I'm saying? I think maybe that's why wisdom is referred to in the feminine in that respect. You know what I'm saying? You're gentle with the wisdom. You just don't willy-nilly wisdom all over. I guess that parallels not casting your pearl before swan. You know what I'm saying? And that's a blessing in and of itself. The fact that someone who's been addicted to drugs for eons, been in and out of jail from 18 to 25, someone who never had any functional vocational skills, not just on head, but I've had other people tell me this who have accreditations and education and so on and so forth, ask me for advice. Not because I'm so great or da da da, but I think they perceive my wisdom come from somewhere else. It's not from this world. That's why I think because of my hard-headed nature, and I don't mean to be that way, I had to go the long road and the hard path. Because suffering, if you go through enough pain, pain will change you. You know what I'm saying? I have no desire to use drugs. I don't care what I go through. No. Because I don't want to subject myself to people being in authority. That was painful, having people treat you any kind of way and you can't do nothing about it because you need them. You know what I'm saying? The humiliation ritual of that. And you can't get out of it. You can. But when I did it, I just, take me about a year and I'm right back in the same situation because you're going to have to go through this process. So when you get out of it, you won't go back in it. You know what I'm saying? Anything you earn, you cherish. Now I understand that, like the grandparents and them. And I think that's true for anybody, especially in today's social climate. Like your love per se or something like that. If people don't earn it or steward it correctly, they don't value it. And that's part of it because nobody values anything because everybody wants love. What was that? I'm going to start singing a song. What was that, Al Green or Bobby Womack? Everybody wants love, but everybody's afraid of love. You know what I'm saying? But that's almost a concept now. Again, from my personal experience, where I live at, what I've seen in the past, social media, the love of many has waxed cold. It's all about, can you give me what I want while I do the most nothing? That's not love. What the word say? Love is long suffering. Love is patient. Love is calm. Love doesn't keep a tally of wrongs. You know what I'm saying? Like my daughter's done some stuff, but I'm like the Most High. We worked through it, and then I cast it into the sea of forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? You all right, baby? Oh yeah. Hey, that's another great idea, CEO King. Um, how would I word it? Like I've had to learn how to talk continuously into a camera, right, when people ain't around. But typically, I'm a conversational counterpuncher. Like somebody can say something, and I'll just come back with something just off the cuff, reacting to what they just said. And it'd be from what people like. It'd be unorthodox, or I got a different perspective of seeing things and all that. Case in point, I'll give you I guess a reaction. So I got a homeboy of mine, and I got love for him. But he's assimilated himself into a certain social culture or social grouping rather of, let's say, white folk, right? But these aren't the average white. They more like city white folk. So they got some with them. They might have some gang or previous gang affiliations, right? Now I was privy to these people when I used to get locked up. These were, not to be gross or nothing, these were the first individuals I knew of who would talk about eating groceries, if you know what that means, way before that was a trending thing, right? So, there's benefit to hanging with them and whatever. But I'm like, yo, be leery of this because they kind of like Romans. You know what I'm saying? So I saw on a post that the dude who stole my money, right? So I get on him about that. I'm like, yo, ask your man where my money at, yo, because he stole the state money, whatever. I ain't get mine, right? So he tried to stay out of it. But that's why I say you can't play the 50. You know what I'm saying? Because if you with them people, you know what I'm saying, you get with them people. You know what I'm saying? Or like, in the court system, you around people doing wrong, you get indicted as an accessory, then they make you tell and all that, right? So I guess the post was about Trump, right? Now, mind you, he run with mostly white folk. So the dude that stole my money called my homeboy Uncle Tom, and I fell out laughing, right? I said, the white man that called you Uncle Tom, yeah? So then because I like to mess with him, playing, and I'm serious at the same time. I said, man, I warned you about hanging out with them folk, man. That's crazy. I thought Negroes call each other Uncle Toms and whatnot. The white man called my homeboy Uncle Tom. He still hang out with him. These are the same people that when you strike out an adult T-ball in the humiliation ritual kind of style, they make you put on a tutu. He put the tutu on and posted proudly. It reminded me of Meek Mill when them white folk had him bunny hopping. So I said, cuz, man. Now, had you played for the Negro T-ball league and Negro told you put on a tutu, you know what I'm saying, you wouldn't have did no stuff like that. You've been ready to fight. But when the white folks said, you wear it proudly. This goes into the rhetoric about the Gorilla Hebrew man, where they promote this kind of, or they had this secret, not secret, but how would I word it? Like this kind of psychological thing of wanting to be oppressed or dominated or have other people or another nationality rule over you. That's why I typically throughout my life I get along with black people, but we have philosophical differences. You're praising or you're happy because you have a job, which is good, don't get me wrong. You got a job working for, let's say, Lockheed Martin, right? That's great. I want my own company. We don't own nothing here. And then then I kind of gotta appease you to some degree. I don't want to do all that, yo. That's why it was hard for me to get a job. And typically the older generation, or let's say my father and them, mother and them generation, didn't necessarily set us up for success, because the only thing black male wise that generation taught you how to put on a tie, and appease white folks. But if you have an idea that's innovative, typically they shoot it down on behalf of the system. That generation didn't set this generation up. Now, my generation, for all the trauma, the crack epidemic, the second, third wave of single motherhood, and so on and so forth, we're the gen that actually fight for our kids. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I feel like it's a losing battle. But the other, like my dad and them generation was more Papa was a Rolling Stone. We seen the effect of that, and I knew it personally. So I said when I was younger, if I ever have a child, I ain't leave my child. Not understanding and wisdom, sometimes it's best to leave and build your own kingdom, because you can't build a kingdom with a wicked woman, because she's gonna tear it down. These are the breaks. It's real in the battlefield. But I'm fortunate to have mentally, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually survived the game that I didn't even know was around me. For as intellectual and knowledgeable as I was about certain things, I ain't know black people was like this, yo. I didn't, almost the Barnabas principle. We uphold the Barnabases in our community. Like, you can snitch, violate the street code, but as long as you got money, we'll give you a pass. But the father who fighting for his kids, you see what I'm saying? He don't get no love. He don't get no support. They actually want to see you lose because they lost or they don't have the heart to fight in the first place. I kind of digressed there from the actual talking point, but that's how it be. When I start off going, I just be all over the place. It's so much going on. I said this about my prayer life. I told the Most High this. It's so much to pray about. I can't remember to pray about all the stuff you got to pray about. My child, my home, spiritual things, so on and so forth. But then, my homeboy over here, the brother who's in jail wrongfully, I got to pray for him. I don't even know him personally, but I know he out there, and there's probably quite a few of them. You understand me? The sister who made some mistakes, and now she wants to be right, but maybe she got a couple kids and everybody online saying you ain't got no value if you got a couple kids now. You know what I'm saying? This them be my prayers. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I pray one day I can meet people and be of service. You know what I'm saying? Just like on here, it's not about y'all subscribing and hitting the member joint and I make, get money and da da da. I want to actually be able to give y'all something. That'll make me feel purposeful. I'm not looking to get, I'm looking to give, but I'm looking to give in a way that'll actually reap a harvest. You know what I'm talking about? I don't care nothing about being in charge or whatever. I'm actually more better as a loyal soldier. You know what I'm saying? Now, I can lead. I have leadership capability. I'd rather just support the leader while I go chill or do whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I'm the type of kind of, I guess, soldier who can influence the other soldier. So then maybe the leadership kind of little leery of me to some degree because I am free thinking. Or I lead with like when I had a leadership position at the job, I'm not, oh yeah, I got a title finally. Yay, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. Nah, I gotta make sure everybody in here all right. That's more of a duty on me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to slip in that regard because other people are involved. You know what I'm saying? And I do, and I've always had that. First, since I got a heart for the people, and I think that was kind of home with how I was raised. My mom was there, but my aunt more so took the lead as far as on day-to-day, rearing and raising, because she worked for the, as a librarian for the school system. So there wasn't a whole bunch of free time. Typically, if you've seen one, you've seen the other. So, like she the one who made me read and comprehend. We would go out in the community and pass out plates. I've never seen her look down at nobody. And I also saw her fire people up who had titles, respectfully, you know what I'm saying? And she not no physically imposing woman. It'd be the spirit in her, right? What else? We used to, I don't know if this is still a thing in the church. After church, we used to visit the sick and shut in. Summertime, let's say summer youth camp, I got my little duties to do. And then the younger kids, I got to tend to them. And not only do I got to tend to them, I got to tend to them in a way, and she didn't tell me this, I just inherently know it. I got to tend to them in a way, that gives honor to the family name. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not about me. I'm a representative of something bigger and greater. You know what I mean? I've always had that component within me. Even when, I would do wrong the right way or right the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm drunk. Like the last, before I went to rehab this time, police do you any kind of way. So I was actually on my way home with a beer bottle in my hand. And the police didn't even see me. I crossed the street and asked them what's going on. So, of course, I got an alcohol citation and they ain't tell me. But I probably got more power as someone who's overcome their issues in the community, not just here, but also in Baltimore, than the average politician, because you don't never see none of them in the street, and they can't relate. I still smell like the fire, you know what I'm saying? Well, not smell like it, but they can still sense he's been through some stuff on him. But I don't feel leery of him, you know what I mean? And we're talking about around other predators. If you can make other predators feel comfortable in your presence, that's saying something about the power of the master potter, the Most High. Oh, my aunt, I should do I don't know if I did one. Because, it's crazy. Anytime I tell stories, like not on YouTube, but on Facebook, like people like, don't say that, and they'll miss the whole interpretation of what I'm doing. I was literally afraid of her psychologically. Not because she beat on me. She yoked me up a couple times. You know what I mean? But this was the woman who told me, because I'm naturally kind of talented, right? So, but I understand everything. Of course, you're younger. How are you? She said, boy, you don't even know what you up against. So this back when you don't talk back, you just take that like Puff Daddy. She said, you're going to have to be significantly, you're going to have to work twice as hard and be twice as smart just to be on par with everybody else, and you shucking and jiving. You coming into this world with 2 strikes and you don't even realize off Jump Street. You're black and you a male. And them words didn't ring true. I said, good God of mercy. I ain't even know nothing about it. You know what I mean? This woman, I literally seen her cut her finger off and dump scalding hot water on her foot, and she never hollered. I used to think the woman was like magical. And that's part of the reason why like I strive to do certain things. Because if it wasn't for her and my mama, keep my name on the prayer list, them old elder board members where they, pray for hours and yeah, that type of stuff. I might not be on earth. So I owe it to that. It's not even really so much me. And I would like to experience and obtain certain things, yeah. But it's really in words escape me. It's really out of darn, I had a brain fart. I owe it to him. Like I said, I was raised right. I've actually seen righteous femininity that was strong but still submitted. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's where empathy and compassion come from too. I guess maybe if you raised by women or something like that. But like I owe it to them, especially as they're getting older now. I just want them to see the final product. I guess I will never be the final product this side of dirt, but I owe it to them to see the final work of the hands of the Most High on my life. Now, when I was really cutting up acting fool, they didn't even get all worried and concerned. They said, oh, we just gave to God. And then went on about their business. They weren't concerned at all. Maybe my mama would, but my aunt, no. He got him. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly how she said, yeah, God got him. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going out here to cut the grass. Yeah. You need something to eat? But she won't, like co-sign my BS or nothing like that. She'll flame me up. Then she one of them, after she flame you up, she'll build you back up. Mm-hmm. That periodically I'll see homeboys that, because she know her, small town, you know everybody. And she'll still flame them up and then buy them a sandwich just because we went to middle school together. Yeah, back then they had them old school Now I'm lucky enough to still have them in my life. You know what I mean? And that's part of it. I just, I owe it to them to be able to take care of them or lead them properly. You know what I'm saying? Every time I went to jail behind something stupid, they was there encouraging me. Or my aunt would mail me them church bullets. My aunt would mail me church bullets. She ain't gonna send me no money, but she'll mail me one of them daily breads and one of them church bulletins and all that. And I don't know what kind of faith she got, but I've never seen her concerned or alarmed about my situation. Even when I broke my neck, she'd be like, you be all right. Mm-hmm. And then you just go on, do whatever. I'm thinking maybe she kind of cold or something. I'm trying to figure out how. You say I'm gonna be all right. How? I just broke my neck. I just lost my shawty. I'm going through PTSD, survival more. I'm gonna be all right. You be all right. And then we go ride somewhere, get some chicken. While listen to back then in Maryland, it was Heaven 600. To totally honest, it wasn't for that one, I probably wouldn't be alive. And I'm fat. So anything else being uncivilized to have some desire to be able to do for them or show them that their efforts weren't in vain. Word up. That'd be a travesty. You know what I mean? I think about that a lot. But even in reference to that, it's not even like I made myself who I am. Like I found out certain information about manhood, masculinity through YouTube, but it was the experiences that honed it. Like I stopped playing with people. I never really played with people, but I stopped playing about like what I'm doing and stuff like that because of the circumstances I was in. It didn't get easier. It actually got harder. And in response, it produced said trait. You know what I'm saying? You absolutely, it is the word. Because again, I ain't make myself this. And I can imagine like who I want to be to a certain degree, but it's hard to imagine who you want to be internally. I just became this. You know what I'm saying? Again, in the hands of the master potter. So all the stuff I prayed to get out of, he didn't get me out of it because it was meant to do something. Like even now, I don't know what this mean and that mean and why is this popping up and whoop. But I got to trust like David did and remember all the other stuff he got me through. Even if I don't understand it, I don't need to understand it. I just trust that all things work together for those who are called by Yah and called according to his purpose. Word up. Word up. And that's a message for myself. And a lot of times I say stuff to myself, saying it to y'all as well, because we're definitely in, to say the least, uncertain times. Budget cuts everywhere, plane dropping out of the sky, everything catching on fire, people acting a fool. The sexual immorality is probably it's got to have usurped Sodom and Gomorrah at this point. Now ain't nothing off limits. You know what I'm saying? And these things, it's like the more vile you are, the better trend, or the more brash you are, the better trending you'll be on social media. Like the sister who say, gay, what's she say, godly men rather, and straight men are red flags. And now that's went viral. Meanwhile, over in China, that probably own everything over here now, they're teaching their kids computer programs and, a sense of duty to their country and so on and so forth. We teach our kids to be freakazoids. Spy this place, yo. I think brother Ralph, excuse me, says God was shaping and sharpening you up for a time such as this. I appreciate it. He's doing it to all of us. I'm just more of because I've been so isolated, and I've always kind of been a very practice some level of self-awareness, and then how I grew up. I've always been very reflective and insightful in that matter, and very observative socially. You know what I'm saying? I had to go through all that to be able to deal with what I'm dealing with now. I think just like a seed, what's that? And I'll leave you on this note, right? And when I heard this, my spirit agreed with it. It's either the bonsai tree or it's another tree start with a B. But when you plant this particular seed, it don't break the ground for like 3 years. Don't quote me on this. I'm just using it as, comparison, right? So it's underground for 3 years. And then it takes 3 years for it to break the surface. But once it breaks the surface, its growth is like exponential. It grows like 9 feet in 4 days or something. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it was for me. I was buried for the longest and couldn't get out of it. Regular stuff, job. Couldn't even, at that time when I went to Baltimore, it was arguably the most dangerous city in America. And I can't get a job, right? Even though I hadn't been in any significant criminal trouble in at least 7 years at that point. We're a little nicky-nack stuff, but nothing super serious, right? Then I would, go find my little duck-off spot. So it was a park called Montebello Park. It's sitting in the middle of a lake. It's a track around it. It got a pull-up bar and a dip bar, right? So I go out there to just kind of, whatever, right? The brother who's telling me where to go to get a job just beat 2 attempted murders the year prior. And he got a job, but I can't get one. It wasn't meant. But here's the tripping part, though. Never had a job. Actually, and after I broke my neck, I probably have worked a total altogether of a year in the last 12 years. Right? Yeah, something to that effect. But during my time in Baltimore, I always have a roof over my head. I always had something to eat and had just enough money to get on the bus to go to a job interview that I end up getting denied for. Oh, Tamika says she was just reading the parable of the sower. I'm gonna touch on that real quick. And I ain't no biblical scholar. Maybe he teaches me different because I do think conceptually. Or almost along the lines of the parable of the people with the talents. Back in my mind, okay, the master man give me a talent. Because I'm so used to messing up and mismanaging stuff, I'ma just bury it. So that way when he come back, I got it for him. Not realizing that I'm supposed to take what I'm given and do the best I can with it and maximize it and have a return. But my return hasn't necessarily been practical. I mean, financial, to some degree. Yeah, it comes sustained now. It's actually been spiritual. I've actually taken, like I was telling somebody the other day, right? Message. We all have our time. That's what Farrah said, right? Because it was so much uninspiring stuff around me, I began to see like glitches in the matrix and regular stuff most people would just take as haphazard, right? So I might see, okay, I'm looking at my neighbor's yard and there's some birds there, right? Now, mind you, I got whatever I got going on, but I see these birds getting worms. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, they can still find what they need and fly to safety. You know what I'm saying? Dang. And then I apply that to my life. Like, I can't do what I want, but I'm still able to get what I need and go to safety. The only thing that I'm tripping off of, just like I tend to do now, It's the stuff that goes on around me. Now, granted, I'm insulated. It just be sometimes I hurt for the world. And I know we're not supposed to love the world or the things of the world. And I don't. It's the people in the world. And sometimes I have a hard time grasping that they might be too reprobated to be redeemed. Because I'm like, well, you saved me. I had it been worse than them. You know what I'm saying? That's what kind of be messing with my head a little bit. Not my spirit, but my head. And I don't even know how you get out of it other than he take you through it. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't have a measure of faith that I got now, or when I read, I'm able to uphold you with the righteousness of his right hand, unless due to my principles that he had built up, leave a job, don't have a job for 2 years, and then if it falls apart, it'll make me seem like I was a liar or I didn't know what I was talking about. But he upheld me without having a job in 2 years. Like I ain't missed no bill, you know what I'm saying? Which then created a greater level of faith. Because I was wondering, was that the right decision? The only way I could gauge it, my spirit told me leave. My mind saying, yo, you about to get a supervisor position, you about to make a salary, you know, it's for your family, da-da-da. My spirit like, man, bump all that. We ain't going. And my spirit literally paralyzed my body. Just like now, where I work at now, which is like a subsidiary of the state of Maryland, right? With all these budget cuts going on, in my mind, I'm like, yo, how long is this going to last? You know, typically, you know, the Negro, last one hard, first one forward, that type of move, right? And my mom thinking, yo, how long is this going to last? I need to be looking at other options, da-da-da. But my spirit stopped. No, you ain't got to look nowhere else, yo. We all right, yo. Chill, yo. You know what I'm saying? Case in point, right? And I'm going to leave y'all on this note because I've been on here about an hour, but I'm flowing with it, right? And I don't really tell about, like, I don't be really wanting sympathy or nothing like that, right? So I've been, like, lately I've been having car trouble, right? So now my spirit tell me, like, don't drive the car, yo. You need to, you know, figure out what to do with it, whoop, the whoop, the whoop, right? That's how I was delivering stuff and doing whatever, right? And then sometimes I'll take a drive late night, clear my mind, or I'll drive over to Delaware just to do it, whatever, right? But here's what's trick. It don't matter that my car is messing up. Because tomorrow I'm going to go to work because I live in a small town. I can ride my bike to work. I'm going to call Volkswagen and have them tow it there and figure out what's going on. But I can still maintain without having a car. You know what I'm saying? All I got to do is just adjust. You know what I mean? But the Most High set that up because previous to that, I was working. I'm going to leave you on this note, right? I was working at the next, it's about 20 minutes away for Mobile Crisis, right? But my spirit wasn't feeling it. It's a whole bunch of checks and, you know, it'd be really people just talking intellectually, but we don't really actually help nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, man. But mind you, at this point, I just came back from PA from attempting to get my CDL. Excuse me. But I had the child custody issue. So I didn't pursue that because I'm thinking if I go to court, it's not going to look favorable if I'm over the road trucking 3 weeks out the month going for sole custody. Right? So something tell me, so I'm like, yo. So I say bump that job for real. Not because I'm lazy. I'm in the new season, my spirit, right? But mind, it seemed like I can't escape, and I've exhausted all the potential jobs that my spirit agreed with, right? So I've been seeing it's through the state of Maryland, so it's a long, drawn out process. So now again, I'm in this space, which goes back to my original talking point about, you know, just being led by the Most High and trusting Him, right? So I was actually doing a delivery for a shopper order, and the people called me and said they wanted to rock with me. So I'm like, yeah. But from the time they called me, I had a couple interviews, and it was almost like 2.5 months before I actually started working. But then when I started working, it fell in alignment with my bills and whatnot, right? And then not only that, it took me almost 40 days to get paid. Because, you know, Maryland's so jacked up, they did something wrong. So central payroll didn't process, so they gave me a double check and double taxed it by the same token. Like 40 days later, it was crazy. But it fell in alignment with all my bills, though. And the job I got now, I can go ahead and get my car attended to, but I don't have to call, ask nobody to help me get to work. I can hop on my bicycle. And the weather breaking, and I want to ride my bike more now anyway. You know what I'm saying? So all praises to the Most High. I appreciate y'all for attending this live. I'm gonna start doing, like, you know, I'm gonna start going live more often. Cause sometimes I be overthinking and then I'll just, you know, upload a video like that. And I really didn't know what I was going to say tonight. But I've been on here almost an hour and some change. So, man, one love, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all encourage me. I hope I encourage y'all. Never forget, cover your six. One love. Trust in the Most High.